that want requested money from us. First up is Linwood Ambulance.
That's me.
I think we were gonna move Tri-County Cap up.
Oh, we can do that.
Where,
Tri-County cap.
sorry, John.
Hi, that's me. And thank you for doing that. I'm trying to struggle getting back to Berlin before 7 tonight for another meeting. Hi, everyone. I'm Brenda Gagne. I am the Chief Programs Officer with Tri-County Cap. I want to apologize. These just came in, so I did not send the stats when we sent in our application, so I brought them with me tonight. So you can see what type of work we've been doing for the town of Woodstock. We are asking for level funding again this year at 2868. We asked for the entire agency because it encompasses all the programs we do and the referrals we do. If we get requests from residents for different types of services, then we'll carry out those referrals with the other programs, as well as other providers, depending on what's needed. As you can see in front of you, we actually provided more total unduplicated clients than we did last year. This year, we're at 178. A lot of that you'll see is because of fuel assistance, energy assistance, the rental assistance program, weatherization. Those seem to be the biggest needs actually across the county. It's not just the town of Woodstock. But I would be happy to answer any questions you may have. No, you didn't make me come here. I'm happy
Well,
to
this
go.
kind of, all of our questions.
I'm so sorry we didn't get them to you earlier. We unfortunately our statistician retired. So we kind of had to scramble to get it all together and learn her program and her spreadsheets. I too love spreadsheets, but I never saw one like that. That confused me a little bit.
This looks good. This one's clear.
Very much.
Very understandable.
Oh, good. That's my design, not hers. I'll take credit.
So the total value of the top, is that total value of services to Woodstock?
Provided to the residents of Woodstock, yes. We put that in there because we think the towns would like to know
Yeah.
how much funding is
Yeah.
coming into them, and because it is all state and federal funding.
Yeah.
You should know where your money's going. Well, we changed how our formula works now when we ask by the population, not necessarily how much we provide to you. We think that's a fair formula to use with all the towns that we go to. So it's a per person ask.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Safe travels back.
It's snowing and
Okay, next up is the Linwood Ambulance.
Hi, my name's John. I'm the interim chief at Linwood Ambulance.
I thought you were the new hero.
He is a
I
hero.
too. I do my best. I've been here for about a month, so I'm just catching up on some things. But we are here tonight asking for 10% greater than we did last year. Looking at, I think that number comes out to somewhere around 132, 137. Thank you. Great. And so this year, our numbers are a little bit further down than they were last year. Our uncompensated care is about half of our runs to the communities. And we're actually working with a statistician as well, that is building out some of our numbers so that we'll be able to give you a better idea in future meetings of what that looks like, because we don't really know. We've never really played with that data. But we've been told that it's there. So we're looking at that and what the uncompensated care looks like to the town of Woodstock, to the town of Lincoln, to the other towns that we go to around us, whether it be Livermore or wherever. So that, our expenses are up a little bit. We're working to get some of our volunteers back into the mix so that they can drop some of our payroll. And make our numbers look good, and hopefully we can answer any questions that you may have. And
That's right. Welcome to our community. It's
Thank you.
great to have you. Thanks for coming tonight. My only question or thought would be is last year when they had increased, we had gone from in 2022, I think 75,000 to the 125. We kind of said, 5% every year if we can, and recognizing that you guys have some increases in costs and labor and everything. This year's 10%. Are you thinking that it's gonna stay at that 10%, or are we gonna be able to get back down to that maybe 5%? Not knowing obviously what inflation, cost of supplies and all that. Is it a goal to maybe?
I would like to see us get to that point.
Okay.
I would like to see us in the single digits.
Yeah.
On a yearly basis, rather than double digits on a regular basis.
Yeah, that would be great.
I can't guarantee anything because I haven't gotten that far into the numbers yet.
Yeah.
But we did see a significant decline in our run numbers this year. Littleton took over the Franconia end of things. And when they did, we lost about 40 runs to Cannon, which are typically decent paying runs. Which is a pretty good hit to the pocketbook.
Yep.
And just in general, our runs are down a little bit. So, it kind of depends on that run volume and what the state does. There's some legislation out right now that the state is looking at capping what ambulance services can receive from insurance companies. And if that happens, there's gonna be a significant problem with the other end of things, because where we recover that cost sharing is through town fees. So hopefully that will work itself out and we'll stay where we're at with recovering some revenue through the insurance companies and with patient transports.
The uncompensated, you said it was like at 50%. Does that include when you go out to a call and they refuse treatment?
Yep. Yeah, or if there's a lift assist and they don't want to go to the hospital, or anytime we go out and we don't actually transport somebody. The only time we can bill somebody is if we actually put them in the ambulance and transport them to the hospital. Right now, there's some legislation out there to change that and make it so that we can bill for those folks that fell or had some sort of medical intervention when we showed up. If we lifted them up, then there's an opportunity for us to potentially in the future recover some funding for that. The state of Vermont is actually, it's $37 right now, but it's something, it's a start in the right direction. So there's some relief hopefully in the future for us.
It's amazing, and I didn't realize this till I got on the board, how much we don't get paid.
Right.
You know, every time they go out, but we still have to pay that guy who went out in the car.
The three that are going out,
Right.
the three that are going,
Yeah.
you still gotta keep the
call,
ambulance
so that-
running. You can't shut it off once it's out.
And the contractual write-offs are high too.
Yeah.
They're almost 50% of what we bill.
Yeah.
So we bill out about 1.2 million, just shy of, and our contractual write-offs are about $500,000 to $600,000. So.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
for your time.
Have a wonderful evening.
Good luck.
Next up is Ammonoosuc Community Health. Is there someone from them?
I thought we forgot it.
For the chief leaves, because I work in healthcare.
Just tell me.
You help some of our patients, and you get to that legislation, numbers count. So please contact me, because that'd be something we sign on and go, look, these are our people. And I don't like your contractual write-offs anymore. So, we all, that's what the insurance companies do to us.
Thank you.
So thanks for keeping our people moving and upright. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks. My name's Ed Shunshall, I'm the CEO of Ammonoosuc Community Health Services. I believe you may have received, if you didn't, I'll leave the statistics sheet for you. I think when we send it in, we try to provide that with every town we serve. And I'll leave you with, this is the only book written in the country that I can find on what a community health center is. And really, it's not my health center, it's the patient's health center, it's the people's health center. This will give you a sense of some of our brochures. So we see about 64 people from Woodstock, and a significant portion are sliding fee scale. Our poorest patient pays $15 to see the doc and see the behavioral health specialist. Will help people with, so they can afford their medications. More recently, we've collaborated with Midstate because through predatory contracting, who's heard that, we had to close our dental practice in Littleton. Bit of a hike for y'all. But we brought the physical plant and equipment, and Bob McLeod from Midstate's brought the staff, and it's two community health centers trying to collaborate together, leverage our resources. That's something, his other site is down in Bristol, so you know. They provide a sliding fee scale, we provide a voucher system. For people with eyewear, again, if you qualify and you could be insured, but you don't have eye insurance, 200% of federal poverty, household size and income. We don't means test, so we don't look at your assets, your savings account. Medicaid does that, we don't do that. And so we can help people get their eye exam, get a pair of glasses. We're deferential to the optometrist. If it's bifocals, it's bifocals, you know, that's what you get. We do worry about people with diabetes and make sure they get their dilated retinal exam. People want to tie flies, take their kid to the ball game, do crossword puzzles, knit, and if we can't see, we can't do that. So as we have an aging population, we're very sensitive to make sure that people get the care that they need. A couple things I can share that I think are exciting. I was successful in writing a grant for early childhood development. This is our federal tax dollars coming into New Hampshire, is $200,000. And some parents, grandparents, guardians have kids who have developmental challenges. It could be PTOT speech, it could be spectrum, it could be tactile, it could be a variety of things. And we think that the PTOT and speech is great. We're bringing early childhood development in. There's no cost. This is our tax dollars funding this. And we're hiring early childhood development people who act like circuit riders. Now, I don't know where these kids are going to be. They could be as far away as Lancaster, Woodsville, they could be in Woodstock. And sometimes parents are left with a choice of there's something that the child could benefit from, but it's $100. I'm trying to put food on the table. That's a bad choice. So we're using the library system, an interlibrary loan, to move things around that kids could benefit from, and maybe after 6 months, just like a book, you return it and we clean up and recycle it. So it's a new resource into the community. I'm happy that we're going to be able to bring. Yeah, so we have about 64 patients who are asking for $500. I think it's probably flat funding. Anything else I can answer for you, or I'm always interested in what we should be doing more or less of it differently? No, something comes up, please ask. You know, especially like for the fire department or things like that. I do spend time in Concord and DC, and I don't mind carrying some water on behalf of like programs, and it's kind of how we take care of ourselves in the country. So appreciate it all. Thank you.
Next up is the Bridge House.
Hello. I'm Judy from the Bridge House. I do prevention and outreach. I have been doing that role since January. I didn't have a chance to, thank you for passing it, or to email these, so thank you so much. Do you want me to leave the extra copies for anyone who may be interested? Yeah, sure. Okay. So we request $2,000 from every town in Grafton County. And I apologize for our disheveled way of getting your documents to you. We don't have an admin staff. So we have the executive director, Bridge House manager, and a staff who does evenings, and one volunteer who answers the desk just like one day a week. So we don't have an admin staff. So we kind of scramble to submit you something we already submitted to another town. And in the appeal letter, I think we had 200 days of service for 2 women last fiscal year for Woodstock. And at the billing rate of $150 a day, that would be a $31,200 bill to Woodstock. So we're still always on the request $2,000 in support of Bridge House. For towns that don't support us, we do, when we have time and the space, we do bill welfare departments to try to recoup any expenses related to the cost of providing services. So I do know that the Woodstock number is higher, but we only count shelter, people who come into shelter. That means they actually physically occupy a room. So we don't have a good way to track like my outreach, or if someone comes in and stays on a futon for 2 nights and we get them a bus ticket to their family in Ohio, like I don't have a way to track those numbers because there's not reimbursement monies through the state to do that, and we don't have a staff to do that, so it's a little bit difficult. We do have currently 1 person in the shelter right now as of November 17th, and I imagine they will be sheltered with us for a significant amount of time, pending getting disability benefits, medical care that they need, that sort of thing. So I imagine it will be probably a year stay for the person from Woodstock right now, especially pending the wait list for subsidized housing. So we do a lot of things in the community. I myself have gone to court, try to mediate landlord tenant issues, try to appeal findings. I try to today I was just at a rehab facility working with a social worker to get someone that was in our care to the Veterans Home in Tilton. Bridge House does prioritize Grafton County for services. We do receive some state grant and aid, which you saw on our sheet. That does mean we have to be an emergency shelter available for the state of New Hampshire, but anywhere possible, we prioritize Grafton County and our veterans for support. So.
Any questions?
We'll do better next year now that we know the format for the request and have all of our things, our ducks in a row in much better fashion for next year, especially we know that other towns are also doing the same format. But this format beats having to stand out and try to get petition signatures and that sort of thing. So I'll take this any day. So thank you.
Thank you for that explanation and
Appreciate it.
explaining, and the brochure.
Yes, thank you.
Next up is the bridge project. Okay, we'll go with CASA.
Hello, how are you? A little nervous.
We fight.
This before, so. My name is Susan Spinney, and I don't actually live in Woodstock. I live down in Thornton. But I am a CASA myself and was asked to come and speak. CASA New Hampshire is looking for approximately $500 to advocate, to train advocates. What CASA does is when a child is taken out of the house or sometimes is in the house, a CASA goes to court and advocates for the child in cases of abuse and neglect. We write reports, we go into the court, we talk to them, we make sure that this child's going to be safe, whatever the outcome may be. So basically the full amount of $500 will be used for recruitment, training, and retention of the CASAs, currently advocating for children in Woodstock. There are children in Woodstock that are in the system. Unfortunately, there are no advocates in Woodstock. So that's something that we're hoping to get done.
So when you say there's no advocates in Woodstock, does that mean that the kid then doesn't have a CASA?
No, not
They don't
necessarily.
have one from the
Right,
state?
they don't, there is no one trained in this town to be a CASA. So basically, what I've seen happen, because there's so many cases now, it's so sad, that if they don't have someone readily available, they'll put out a statewide request for someone to come to the town to advocate for that child. This is mainly for children that are in the out of the Plymouth court. It's an amazing program. It's tears at your heart sometimes. So, but it is amazing, and I've been doing it for around 10 years now. and a number of kids. I teach high school, so I tend to go for the adolescents, which is most people don't want, I would say. So yeah, so it's been amazing to be a part of it. Anything else? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
I
you. for your time
appreciate you
today.
listening.
And you did a great job.
Next up is Grafton County Seniors.
I'm Kathleen Vasconcellos. I'm the Executive Director of the Grafton County Senior Citizens Council. And with me is our Director of Marketing and Development, Allison Morgan, and Maria McIntyre. She manages the senior center that serves Woodstock, and it's located in Lincoln. So we are requesting $6,000. We operate 10 senior centers. As I said, one is in Lincoln. That's the one that serves residents of Woodstock. We provide an array of programs and services for older adults. So that includes home delivered meals, congregate meals at the senior center, transportation, activities. I'm going to talk high level, and then Maria can tell you about the exciting things that are happening at the senior center. So during the last year, we served 184 older adults from Woodstock, and that's 80% of the population, age 60 and older, were served by our senior center in some way. In addition, 33 Woodstock residents were assisted by our ServiceLink office. And the cost to provide those services was $105,000 and about $500. So our request of $6,000 is 5% of that cost. We've increased our request by $500 compared to last year because of an increase in the services that we're offering. So I will hand it off.
I'm
to
just gonna
Maria.
answer.
Oh, thank you very much.
We submitted these with our request too, but that's the full statistic page. It's a little easier, you know, you don't have to go through everything. And this is just what we'll be submitting for the annual report. So.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and I recognize some of you, so I know that you know what we do at the center for the most part in offering our services. So home delivered meals and congregate meals, and then our special meals in December is chock full of really fun activities and a couple of businesses that are going to visit us and cook for us. So that's kind of exciting. We have a superstar volunteer system, and the towns, both towns have been super generous in terms of business interactions and cooperation and donation. So it's been my pleasure to serve for the last 5 years. And so this year I have a dream team. I just hired some new folks, and it's going to be a pretty exciting year. And thank you everybody for support, because I know some of you who have been supporting us. So thank you very much.
And I want to say Maria does an amazing job with her activities. And one of the things that we learned during COVID is there's still people who are not comfortable necessarily coming into a group. So we continue to provide activities both virtually and in person. And they always say something good comes from something bad. And my favorite thing is if you go on our website under activities, look at our ukulele group that are from all over the county. One person in Maine, our instructors in Florida, and they do a whole concert of the line 6 to 9. And it's just one of those things that, you know, you look at and you go, oh my God, that's so cute. But Maria does a great job of that. So
Absolutely. And if you haven't visited, please stop by the senior center. It doesn't matter your age, you can stop by, visit us, and see what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Do you have any questions we can answer for you?
okay.
Great job. Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Linwood Mid, oh, we already did the Mid-State.
Well, make jeans,
What?
jeans plain.
You're under North Country Center for the Arts.
You're next.
It says jeans.
Oh, that's the
Yeah, but
sheet.
I've got a different list.
You got my spreadsheet. I was shorthanded. Sorry.
I'm just following directions.
Next up is
The
Lindsay.
wrong direction, wrong
You would have watched the water path and followed along.
The order on the spreadsheet is not the same as the order in our lab.
No. Is there anyone here from Mid-State? Next up is North Country Center for the Arts.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I'm here for Joel and well, I'm president as well, and he's getting rehearsals done for this weekend's opening of Christmas Carol. And you know, this organization is really supported by both communities and by individual donors. And really only the old story is 50% of the ticket sales only cover 50% of the cost of running the operation. So, and what we're trying to do this year is we're going more into teaching and that type of thing. And Joel's hiring someone that can be more working with the school and doing some more school programs and things like that. And so we're trying to do more community outreach now that COVID's over and things like that. So, I think a lot of the kids would love the shows and things like that. You know, you think of the big shows that we do in the summertime, that's just really a small part of it. The Children's Theater and Broadway Bound that we do for kids is a big part of it too. So, and we're asking $500 more because we always pay the actors $150 a week in the summertime and things like that. And we need to go up a little bit, so we're trying to stretch the budget a little bit.
So they're basically volunteers. The actors.
They want the experience.
Yeah.
They really want the experience, and we get some really great people for that little bit of money. So that's my pitch.
Thank you. Next up is North Country Home Health Hospice.
How is everyone's name? My name is Ren. I'm the Senior Manager of Philanthropy and Community Engagement for this. Thank you. The North Country Home Health and Hospice is based out of Littleton, but we serve 51 communities across Coos and Grafton County, including Woodstock, New Hampshire. This year, we're asking for the same amount that we have in the past, $2,750. To give you an idea of what that equates to, the amount of service we provide, that's about 1% of the service that we provide to Woodstock alone. Along with hospice care, which is probably what we're most well known for. We also offer home health care, so patients can heal at home. There's better rates of healing with that. We also offer long-term care. We do this both as an individual service and in partnership with the Bureau of Elderly and Adult Services. And we offer palliative care. And our palliative care program, we started in 2019 with 5 patients as our pilot. And this year, as of this morning, we had 264 patients on our palliative program. And at this point, we do not charge at all for our palliative care. So we give that fully away. Along with our services, our service lines, we also offer medical social worker access for bereavement counseling, advanced directive care, and anything in between. And our newest service line is our durable medical equipment line. We started that, we opened in August, and we're working on accepting all insurances. But we did not have anything in the area that was able to get our patients their beds within 48 hours, along with other tools and equipment. So we're very proud to be able to offer that to the North Country. Any question?
I have a question, but it doesn't have to do with the money. What's the difference between palliative